I just got off the phone with one of my best friends, been my friend for life, was the reason I got into radio, was a childhood hero of mine, the real Bob James, Dr. Bob Pondillo. And he occasionally says things that are brilliant. Not often, but occasionally. He said something today that I just wanted to share with you. He said, "You are one of the variables." Now, what did he mean by that? I will tell you in this episode of the VOHeroes podcast. I actually was in the middle of putting together packages, welcome kits for the new VOHeroes Pros that have signed up in the past week or so. And in fact, today and tomorrow, as I'm shooting this video, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in September of 2022, the 12th, 13th, and 14th, just to get really specific, is the last chance you have to be a member. Then we're closing down for the next year, and we're offering payment plans. And I was mentioning this to him. He called me while I was putting together these packages. I love sending out gifts, the equipment, the gear. Some of it I send myself, some of it I have Amazon send. And he called while I was putting these packages together, and there's something very satisfying about that process for me, but it's okay that he interrupted it, because it's work, but it's okay. And I love talking to him. And we were talking about a question that came up many, many times during the 2 or 3 weeks that I was, quote unquote, launching the new fall curriculum. I was taking registration and doing free work and support and all that. One of the questions that came up over and over and over again from people who were trying to decide whether or not they wanted to even attempt doing voiceover, and noting the price of what my curriculum costs, which is not insignificant. One of the questions that came up time and again was, hey, yeah, this is really expensive. How long is it going to take me to earn my money back? How long before I get a return on my investment? And, I was kind of talking with Bob about the idea. He used to be a college professor, and he's retired now, and he used to teach a course on mass communications in I was a guest speaker. I saw how big this room was, in a huge lab that held like 300 students. And I was saying that when I get questions like that, it makes me a little bit sad for the person asking the question. Not that it's not a kind of an obvious question to ask. It's like, this is a lot of money. How am I going to make it back? How long will it take? I get that people want that information. But I don't think anybody is capable of actually answering that question with veracity, with truthfulness, with accuracy. Because there are so many things that are beyond your control when it comes to being successful in any business, let alone performance. And he said, yeah, that's absolutely true. You have no idea whether anybody's going to even come to class. And so they are one of those things, those people themselves are one of those things that are beyond their own control in many ways, because you can't predict how life is going to be. They are one of the many variables that you have in success. He said, you are one of the variables when you're a student. So, and I hear him, because you go in with all the best intentions. Yes, I can't wait to get started. I've had people who are already working on the curriculum, and I haven't even gotten them their gear yet. They've already started working on classes. They've only been a member for a couple of days, and over the weekend they decided to jump in. I get that. That kind of bias for action is awesome. And then there are people like this guy, Andy. Andy joined my curriculum a few years ago and never took a single class. Actually, I'm overstating it. He did take one lesson in one class in the middle of the curriculum, and then he took 2 more lessons in the class on getting an agent, and that was it. That was it. And my fear, and I was talking about this with Bob, and he said, yeah, you can't do anything about this, but my fear is Andy goes off into his world, his life. And when somebody says, weren't you working on being a voiceover person? Weren't you working on becoming a voice talent? Yeah, I tried it. It didn't work. How do you know? And if Andy had asked me the question, and I'm pretty sure he did, how long will it take me to make my money back? How long before I see a return on my investment? The answer that I gave him is the answer that I've been giving for years and years and years, and that is I have no idea. I have no idea because I don't know how well you'll engage with the curriculum. I don't know how much time you'll have. I don't know how adaptive you'll be to what I'm giving you counsel on versus what you think you should do. I'm not sure how much time you'll have to practice with your gear, with the materials. I don't know how open to what I'm saying you'll be. All these things going on. And then there's you. You are one of the variables. And that kind of, took me to where I looked at that record and said, wow, so out of the nearly 40 courses in the course, and the anywhere between 3 and 50 lessons in each one of the courses, you do the math on that. It's hundreds and hundreds of lessons in dozens of courses. You took a grand total of 3 lessons in 2 courses. And my system only knows when you start playing the video, so it doesn't know whether you watch the whole thing or not. But the point is, it was such an illustration of this notion that Bob shared with me, and that is, you are one of the variables. So I want you to keep that in mind as maybe you're one of my new pros and you're watching this video and you're like, oh, I can't wait. Or maybe you're one of my new pros and you're like, I have some things that I have to do in my life to make room for what I'm about to do with you. Or maybe you're one of those people who have a bucket list, and on that bucket list is become a voice talent, do voiceover, whatever, something very generic. And you've decided that I'm the path to take. My curriculum is the path for you. I just want you to bear in mind the responsibility and the variability that you have in your success. And I want to help you. I'll do everything I can. Me and my coaching team will do everything we can. But I want you to remember that the answer to the question of how quickly can I make my money back? I mean, listen, if anybody wants to answer that question for you, that's not me, another coach or another teacher or another, some company that wants to sell you a $10,000 package that includes demos the first weekend, please run from those people. Because if they give you any answer to that question, oh yeah, 3-4 months or a year or 2 or 5 or whatever the answer is, I have no idea of knowing, and neither do you. We don't know what's coming down the pike. And that one big variable among many variables is you. So my question for you is, how are you planning on managing your variability? How are you planning on assuming the role as one of the variables in your future success? Do you understand that you have a responsibility here, that it's a partnership between whoever you're learning from, like maybe me or my curriculum, and you as a student, right? Answer me that. Let's discuss it in the comments below, okay? Especially on VOHeroes.com, because on the site where you may be watching or listening to this, that's where the conversation is nice and sane and safe and polite and productive. I'd love for you to make a comment below about this. Does this make sense to you? Have you experienced this in life before, where you had all the best intentions, but you never quite got around to it? Or you did and you really dove deep and you loved it and you realized that your engagement is what matters? Listen, it's a big subject, but when Bob said that, I had to just stop what I was doing. And now I'm going to go back to it. I've got adhesive and tape and microphones and all kinds of stuff and thank you cards and mic socks, and I'm sending them out to everybody. Once again, we're going to close down the payment plan registration. This is the last opportunity that you have. If you're watching this video on the day that it comes out, which is September 13th, I think, tomorrow night, midnight, that's when we close it all down. And we get on with the notion of helping people with their journey in VoiceOver. So if you want to head over, I put a link in the show notes. I'll probably take it out after Wednesday night, though. So if it's not there, it's because we're closed up. Anyway, hit the subscribe button, maybe the notification bell. If you want to hit the like button, just smash it until it's broken, because that's how much you like this, if that's what you want. I'm David H. Lawrence the 17th. I thank you so much for watching and for listening, and I will see you in the next episode of the VOHeroes podcast.